Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the C# tutorials. So today we'll be going over the ToString method. So the ToString method, if you guys saw the last video, it's used to convert numerical, pretty much other data types to a string type, sometimes objects. So we will, actually most of the time objects, sometimes in this case, in the example we'll do at least the first one will be a numerical data type to a string. So we'll start with just an example. So let's just say we have a decimal. So decimal amount, actually instead of amount we'll have decimal val, maybe m val. Decimal m val points to, actually we'll have a private here as well. What was that? So private decimal m val points to some number. Actually, let's just go with a small number just for the example. So if we have some decimal, or we could, yeah, so that's fine. So then here we could say, okay, well we want a message box. So a message box, and we're going to show the mval dot ToString. So it's just like Java. Instead we have a capital for the T. Sorry, I'm typing here in the dark. So if we have text val, sorry, not text val, mval dot ToString. Then basically we're going to pass in, we can also use a formatting string, which is, for example, we can say, okay, well we want to pass in a formatting string. It's a little bit tricky. ToString, it's a bit different. They don't have those in Java, so it's a little bit different, but in this case we just pass a formatting string. C means currency. I might have skipped some stuff here, so let me just step back here for a sec. Apologize for that. Let me just step back here, just so we can go over easier ToString example without the formatting string first. So let's just see what we have here. So we originally did, okay, yeah, so let's just step back here. So if we have a, okay, let's delete this one. We'll come back to this example in a sec. Sorry for, someone's probably saying, well, you didn't even explain ToString yet, now you're using a formatting string. So let's just go back here for a sec. So if we have, so let's just say we have a val, or we have a decimal val. Whoops. So let's just have that. So then if we have a label as well, whoops, forgot the private again. Whoops. So private label. So if we have a private label, then basically what we're going to do is if we try to, so let's just say that we have an app that has a decimal variable named val, which is what we have, or mval. So we have mval, we have a label control named label, it's just named label lowercase. So you'll see that commonly if you just have one object. If you have multiple objects, you may just want to put a number, just like the compiler does in the designer when you keep clicking the controls. So you can do that too if you don't know what to call them. Label 1, label 2, that works. Unless you have like something you need, like a window label or something, text box label or whatever. Radio buttons, we'll do all that stuff later. So if we have, so let's just say we have a decimal variable named mval and a label named label. So let's just say we want to display the variable's value in the label control, which is, let's just say mval has a value. So mval has a value, let's just say it's 5.0. Will that work? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we have 5.0. So then if we have 5.0, we want to display the mval's value in the label control. Hopefully I'm not confusing anyone. So to do this, we have to get the value of the mval, and we want to basically put the value in the label control's text property. So when you say it like that, it kind of sounds confusing. Well, how are you supposed to put this value in that in label's text property? So if you think of, it's actually easy. Obviously we've done it a few times, but if you don't understand, it could be confusing. So basically, if we do that, we just say, okay, we want to go so if we say label.text points to, so we'll come back to this later on, like this is an object instantiation, a label, we'll get into all that later on. Hopefully the syntax is correct, I'm just going off the Java syntax, but this should be fine. So if we have label.text, actually that works with Android too. So if we have label.text here, and we just say, okay, we want label.text to be, we want it to point it to mval, right? If we do that, you're going to get an error here because it's going to say cannot convert source type decimal to target type string. So basically it's saying we can't convert a decimal to a string. So in that case, we can use a ToString. So I just have my drink here. So if we have a ToString, so the ToString is just like Java converts something to a string type. So in this case, we could just say, okay, well, if this doesn't work, I don't think you can see that dialog box with the error message, but if I just, there should be an error down here as well. So let me just try to pull that up. Where is that? So there's some errors there. Basically, most of them. 1920. What happened here? Okay, so we cannot convert source type decimal to target type string. Where is that? Okay, yeah, that's the one we know. method delegate or event is expected on 19. Whoops, I messed that up. Okay. Private label points to new label. Does that work? $15 private decimal mval. Okay, that should work, so apologize for that. We'll go over that a bit later, the object instantiation that's coming up soon, so if you're waiting for that, don't worry. We'll learn about that, getting into those objects and stuff, that like the other file basically. So if we have here 15, I think you can see that cannot convert initializer type double to target type decimal. That's on line 15. Oh, whoops, did I miss it? Oh, I forgot the M, I think. Apologize, whoops. What did I hit there? Okay, I'm in insert mode. Let me just try to get out of that. Alright, so we had 5.0 M. That should fix that. Apologize for that. So you need to have an M for a decimal, if I forgot that. Sorry for confusing anyone. So if we have cannot convert source type decimal to target type string, that's on line 20. So we can't do this. So what can we do? Oh no, what are we going to do? So we can do this. We can say, okay, well, mval.toString. So label.text points to mval.toString. So in this case now, mval is going to be converted to a string that looks like this. So it's going to be 5.0 and a string literal. Alright, so let's continue on. So you cannot assign a numeric value to a controls text property because only strings can be assigned into the text property. So we know that a text property can't hold a number. It has to be a string. Anything that goes in a label or anything's text property, just remember that. In C#, it has to be a string type, which means it has to be in 2 double quotations between them. So if you want to display the value of a numeric variable in a label control, you have to convert the variable's value to a string, which is what we did. Alright, so let's continue on to the next example. So going back to the MessageBox example, we could have, can delete that. Getting to some of the more of the code stuff finally. Whoops, did I delete the constructor as well? Yeah, I did. Nope, yeah, I did. Okay, so we'll delete that. Delete that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now let's continue on. So we have, let's say we have an int val, which points to, no, let's go, yeah, let's just initialize it here, and let's make it private again. So private int val points to some number. So if we say, okay, well, let's just pretend this is like an error code or something. So then if we have a message, so let's call a message box here, we want to bring up a dialog box, so we'll say, okay, we want messagebox.show. we want to show val. Again, if we do that, that's going to cause an error. It's going to say problems. Okay, so I'm going to click problems. It's going to say, nope, that should have been problem. Did I convert that? Does it C# convert that to a string automatically? Whoops. So now it says argument type int is not an assignable, or argument type int is not assignable to parameter type string. So that makes sense because we have an int val here, we can't assign it to a string because remember a MessageBox also can only show show a string. So I think when we put it in those double quotations, the compiler converted it to a string automatically, but don't do that. Do this instead. Say okay, we want val.toString. Only do that if you have to. Probably best to do this. Unless your instructor told you otherwise, or your professor, whatever, or pretty much only go by that. If not, then make sure you use the toString. You want to try to convert it without the compiler doing it for you. So if we have MessageBox.show val.toString, this should be fine now. So now the dialog box would appear. Can I run? Okay, you guys won't even be able to see this unless I include it at the end. You guys get the idea. MessageBox is going to pop up. I would like to show that, but that's okay. Well, you guys have seen the message. Actually, I don't think you have. Basically, a little window, like a pop-up window, is going to pop up, and it's just going to show 3, 2, 1, 4, 4, 2, 1. So we could probably even tag on something to this. That can work. Okay, you can't just write stuff in it. No? Is that a warning? That might work. Or we could have had another string that said error code and then plus val.toString, so then it would say 321 4421, which is an error code, and then say show the error code, which is something you might actually want to do at some point. But that's how you do it. Why is that thing there? Okay. So let's just continue on. So the first, we already talked about it. So we have an int. We're converting it to a string using the toString method, or else it wouldn't be able to display. We get an error. Alright, so let's move on. So the next part is implicit string conversion with the plus operator. So basically, so far we've learned that the plus operator has two uses: string concatenation and numeric addition. So if you write an expression using the plus operator and both operands are strings, basically the compiler concatenates the strings. If both operands are numbers, the compatible types. Sorry, if both operands are numbers of compatible data types, then the plus operator adds the two numbers together like normal math. So what happens in C# if one operand is a string and the other is a number? So in C#, the compiler automatically converts the number to a string. and both operands will be concatenated. That's different in Java, that's different in other languages. You probably will get a type mismatch with that. I think you can do that possibly in Python. But we're here to learn C#, so just be careful. Well, in this case, you wouldn't really have to worry about it because C# handles it for you. What we could do, we'll just do an example here. Okay, so if we have an int, no, sorry, we have a private int. So if we have a private int which points to whatever, some number, right? 10.2. Let's just go with 4.0. So if we have, actually no, it's an int, so we'll just go with 4 then. So private, okay, let's just go with some random number. So if we have some random number which is an int, so then we could say, okay, well, string. Why is it doing that? Number too large? No. Might be. Okay, let's just go with that. I thought it could store numbers larger than that. Okay, so that's okay. So we'll just go here with a private string. Actually, no, it's lower. Is it lowercase in C#? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's I think string is capital in Java. So if we have private string str. You know what? I think because I didn't name this, my bad. So if we have val points to, so private int val points to this number, then we have private string str. Then here in the constructor we'll say str points to error code plus val, which will pass this number into val. So this val is really storing this number. It's really val. So 4441412 is val, really. Val points to that number. So this number is really right here. So in this case, what's going to be outputted is error code 4441412. The reason is because this number got converted to a string in C#. Alright, so once again, we converted the int to a string. So both operands are concatenated into one string. So if we have another example, so we have a private double val points to some double. So then we have so if we have, then if we want to say, okay, in the constructor we want to say, okay, well, MessageBox, we're going to call it MessageBox. We're going to say, okay, we want to show a dialog box or a message box with the string is just some some string. So it just says my engine is, and then plus the val. So now, once again, this message box will concatenate this string with this double, but in this case the double gets converted, or basically casted, or I guess it's converted because there's no cast, so converted to a string. Actually, that doesn't happen here. It happens over here. Oops. Whoops, what happened there? Okay, so basically this so val here gets converted to a string, and the output is my engine is 4.0. So that is the pretty much everything for implicit string conversion with the plus operator. We have one GUI example to do. It's kind of a long one. It's not too bad. Let's just try to do that one here. Yeah, maybe let's just try to do that one now. Okay, so let's set up the we'll just basically set up the GUI. Excuse me, so we'll have two text boxes, one, 2, 3, 4 labels, and 2 buttons. Not that bad, so let's just do that now, so we'll just delete this stuff then. Okay, where's the scroller? No. Is there no scroller now? Yeah, there's none. Okay, so we have, I was looking for that horizontal scroll bar, but I can't find it. So we'll just go to the designer. Why is that loading? It was loading last time as well. Let me just try running it, see what happens here. It may have glitched out. I may have to continue this one in the next one. Sorry about that. Let's just give it a sec here. There should be nothing that pops up. Actually, it might be an empty form. An empty window. I would like to delete those extra namespaces that we created and solutions just because it takes up space in the memory. Is it still starting here? Okay, we did get something up here, so let me close that. Is that what loaded? Try that again. I don't think you can see that, but okay, there we go. So we got something. Let me go to the designer now. Still loading. That's not good. Might be a glitch here. I might have to start a new solution completely. So I think I'll do that since it's not loading. So sorry about that. So in the next one we'll continue with the GUI. So we'll make a little converter thing to calculate the miles per gallon for some distance. So just a little converter app that'll take us like 5 minutes. So we'll do that in the next one. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like the tutorial, you can like and subscribe to the channel for more programming and investing tutorials if you'd like to support the channel, or if you like the content. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.